All right, mathletes, here we are looking at Google Earth Pro, and we're going to look at some of the skills and tools you're going to need to use to complete your project on finding an area of a land landmass or a body of water. So first thing you need to pick on what you're going to do. I went ahead and I'm going to pick the island of Coiba in Panama. So one thing that's going to help us is go ahead and try and get it to fill the screen. And okay. And I'm going to make sure, so as I'm doing this, I'm going to have a sketch on a separate sheet of paper. So I want to record my measurements and my bearings so I can put it together at the end. So one thing that's going to help out is if we make sure that north is forced at the top of our screen as it should be on the top of our paper. So what we need to do is we need to get some bearings and some lengths of triangles that we're going to break up this island into. So I'm kind of seeing three triangles here that I could break up into. I can get one maybe here, another one over here, and a third one getting this kind of leg of the island here. So as I kind of have a rough idea, I'm going to grab this tool up here, the rule tooler. I'm going to move it to the side. One thing I find that's helpful is over here with mouse navigation, if I go ahead and unclick that and turn that off, I'm going to choose to use kilometers to do my measurements in now. I know I'm going to have to convert some of these over to miles for the project, but because of the size of the island, I'm not going to use meters. I'm going to choose to use kilometers. Depending on the size of landmass or body of water, you'll have to choose appropriate measurements. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and approximate where the best triangle is going to be. So I'm going to take it from the island here, click and hold until I come up to about here. So as I do that, I notice that I get 22.99, so I'm just going to record that as 30 kilometers. Okay, I think that's close enough. And notice I have a heading here, or a bearing. So that bearing is 37.87 degrees. Okay, so on my sheet of paper, I've kind of recorded my first line here, the bearing, and the distance there. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and save that line. Okay, and maybe I'll just call this line A and hit OK. So next I'm going to do the similar idea, and I'm going to get my ruler tool, and I'm going to grab from this point and measure out into this body of water, or this part of the island right about there. Okay, again, I'm on my sheet of paper. I'm going to kind of make that drawing, record it as 18.56, and know that I've clicked from the top, so I know that my bearing is actually going from the top down. So as I record it, I'm going to mark it accordingly at 149.77 degrees. So again, my sketch is kind of looking like this. Okay, and again, I'm going to save that as line B. Okay, now for the other piece of my triangle, I can grab my ruler tooler again, move this up, and I'm going to go ahead and try and pick from this point over, and there I'm going to have the completion of my first triangle. So again, I'm going to record those bearings and the distances. The distances you can go back and find, but it's the bearings that are hard to get back after you have saved it. So that's a bearing of 85.03 degrees, close to 90 degrees, so it's almost easterly bearing. Okay, so again, I'm going to save that, call that line C, and hit OK. So my next triangle I'm going to go ahead and try and look for. Again, I'm going to come from this point, and I'm seeing it to about there. I'm going to record that in a sketch. Okay. And this is 20.12. and that's with a bearing of, so it's southeast, so it's about 139.96, and again have my kind of sketch like that. Okay, I'm going to hit save. So this is now my fourth line, so I'm going to save it as D. Again, you can save them as whatever. So using that same line on the bottom, okay, I'm going to be able to go ahead and draw my next one from here. Okay. And I'm going to draw it up over here. Okay, and I'm going to complete that triangle. So I know that that's not going to be the same length as that top triangle, but remember I need to use some calculations with sine, rule of sine, and rule of tangents, or I'm sorry, rule of cosine. So I can calculate the distance of that as long as I have some angles as well. So again, I'm going to record that in my sketch. So 18.06, and that has a bearing. And I always like to draw my line for north, and I can see I have a bearing here, and it's northeasterly, so it's 20.33 as my bearing, and a distance of 18.06 kilometers. Okay, so I got two triangles done. Save that. So that's A, B, C, D, E. Save that line. I'm going to go ahead and go to another rule tool, and I'm going to now get my third and final triangle. Feel free to use more triangles to approximate your area, but here I'm just going to show 3. So I get that. Again, record it on my scratch sheet of paper, and I have a distance of 20.72 and a bearing of 99.96, so just past east, a little bit south. And go ahead and save that line, and that's going to be line F. Okay. And the final line I'm going to use here, use my rule tool, and I'm going to pull it down here, and I'm going to bring it up over here. So notice, I know I have this kind of cove here that is going to create an under approximation, but notice that over here I'm missing that landmass, so that will be a little under approximation, so that hopefully that these end up canceling out, and I kind of have a similar type pattern. Like I have under approximation with this triangle over here from this side, but over here, because I'm trying to get the landmass, this body of water makes it an under approximation. So I kind of want to balance those out. If there's really too much of an over approximation, I might want to end up creating a second triangle or a fourth triangle. So here again, I'm going to record my values here before I hit save so I don't lose anything. Remembering I started at the bottom, so I clicked, so this was a northwesterly bearing or a heading, and I get a heading of 310.76. Okay, and that is a length of 21.62. So I'm going to hit save and G and hit OK. And so now that I'm done, I'm going to just zoom out a little bit, so all I have is my lines in my island there, and I can go ahead and use a screen capturing tool as I'm presenting my presentation here as an intern from UNESCO, and I can take this screen capture and save it. Okay. And then I can use it, and I can go back with another program and label the same things I did with my hand sketch that I could potentially now put in a digital platform and make it look more professional. So I hope this video tutorial on Google Earth has helped you out and will lead you to success on this project. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.